Another one of those difficult fights to actually predict. Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Uh, this is another difficult fight. Like I just finished breaking down Jamal Hill versus Khalil Rountree, and this is another one of those difficult fights to actually predict. It's kind of difficult to actually say who is potentially going to have the advantage in this particular fight because I genuinely feel like both fighters um, are pretty decent at what they're doing. However, in this particular fight, Wamai, who did you pick, Roundtree or Hill? Wamai, I went with Roundtree, but I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely feel like Jamal Hill is going to win this fight. Unfortunately, I changed my prediction strategy, and I have to see it through. So far, it's been doing pretty decently, so I can't change my pick at this particular point. But my old strategy says Jamal Hill is going to win that fight. Um, I mean, I've been a believer in Jamal Hill. I picked him against Glover. I picked him against Alex Pereira. I stopped picking him when he fought Yuri Prohaska because I genuinely felt like Yuri Prohaska is going to win that fight. I was right. And a lot of people were calling me stupid for picking what do you call him? I know I'm breaking down the previous fight on the wrong fight, but let me just finish my thought on this. So a lot of people were just, especially because Yiri was just seen as this reckless guy, and I was like, Yiri is actually a pretty decent striker. And at that point, it wasn't a popular pick. Everyone was on Jamal Hill, and I actually got that pick right. In this particular fight, I don't know, man. I genuinely feel like Jamal Hill has a shot. But I guess we'll just talk about it a little bit more during the live watch alongs. Let me break down Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes, which is identical, in my opinion, to Khalil Rountree versus. Um, not identical because in this particular fight, the experienced guy does not have the reach advantage. Um, and does not have the volume. At least in Jamal Hill's situation, he has the experience, he has the reach advantage, he has the volume, right? Which is one of the elements that are making me feel like, man, Jamal Hill has a shot. In this particular fight, the reach advantage and the volume is on Ignacio Bahamondes' side, which is going to be a little bit tricky to actually call because a part of me wants to go with Ignacio Bahamondes, but I genuinely feel like they are so evenly matched. Apart from the volume, when you look at their finishing ability, more or less the same. When you look at their striking defense, more or less the same. When you look at grappling, that's where I feel like I don't know. I just feel like what do you call him, Rafael Fiziev. Even though I don't think a lot of people know this, he has a bit of grappling, right? But obviously Ignacio Bahamondes trains with Bilal Mohammed, so maybe that might give him an advantage. But on the feet, man, I just feel like the main advantages that Ignacio Bahamondes has is reach and a bit of volume. I don't know if that's going to be enough to actually win the fight, but he is on a streak. He has momentum. I don't know, man. I don't know if Rafael Fiziev is going to be able to close the distance as much as he needs to. So it's kind of difficult to actually determine who's going to win. I struggled a lot with this particular pick, to be honest. Rooster, I don't think Fiziev gets finished. I think this fight goes the distance. I agree. I'm picking Hill again. LOL. I could see Bahamondes clipping him. I generally agree, but at the same time, I could also see Rafael Fiziev actually clipping Ignacio Bahamondes because we have to take into consideration the fact that Rafael Fiziev might have lost, but he lost only two fights to what do you call him? To Justin Gaethje. And I think both of them went to decision. I can't recall the finish. I know the first one went to decision, but the second one was a little bit more brutal. But still, I think both of them went to decision. And I think he deserves a little bit more credit because people, and I know at this point I'm going to be doing MMA maths, but the mere fact that Justin Gaethje was able to get to the fifth round with Max Holloway, and Max Holloway is one of the most prolific strikers in the UFC, in my opinion, or rather the most prolific boxers, not strikers, boxers, and which is Ignacio Bahamondes' strong suit, right? So if Justin Gaethje was able to go to the fifth round with Max Holloway, I genuinely feel like that shows how good Justin Gaethje is. And for Fiziev to lose to Justin Gaethje, for me, it's not too bad of a loss in my opinion. I mean, we're talking about a two-time title contender, even though he's talking delusionally at this point, winning one fight and then acting like he deserves a title shot. But that's beside the point. My point is, Justin Gaethje has performed exceptionally well against boxers like Max Holloway, and Rafael Fiziev losing to Justin Gaethje is not too bad in hindsight for me personally, especially when you consider the fact that Ignacio Bahamondes is also really a decent boxer when it comes down to it. And both of them have more or less the same amount of striking defense. The main advantage I would give to Ignacio Bahamondes is the reach. I would also give him the volume advantage, but I don't know if they're going to be enough, especially because I feel like the experience that Rafael Fiziev has acquired from fighting Justin Gaethje a couple of times, and the little experience that he got from fighting Mateusz Gamrot, I think is going to be very useful in this particular fight. I could be wrong. I honestly could be wrong. I'm not going to even sit here and say I'm pretty confident about this fight. A part of me wants to go with the hype and say Ignacio Bahamondes, but I don't know, man. I just feel like they are so evenly matched. For me personally, you're okay. Like, I welcome you to disagree. This is what this channel is all about. If you don't agree with me, that's why I have the subscribers picks. But in this particular situation, even the subscribers agree with me. They are picking Rafael Fiziev to actually win this fight. So my subscribers and I are officially picking Rafael Fiziev to win this fight. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm confident in this particular pick, but I just feel like Rafael Fiziev's experience, which is something I didn't take into consideration when, what do you call him, Mateusz Gamrot fought Ludovic Klein, right? I didn't take into consideration the experience that Mateusz Gamrot is going to come with, even though I knew, and I actually predicted, or rather I actually highlighted the fact that I feel like Kamaru Usman is going to win against Joaquin Buckley. I went against that particular pick. Those kind of feelings, that the same reason that made me pick Alexander Volkanovski over Diego Lopez. Those things genuinely still play a factor, and I just feel like in close matchups like this one, I'm usually going to favor the guy who has more experience. And even though you can say Fiziev has been losing to top guys, I mean, how long has Justin Gaethje been in the top five? At this point, you even end up losing. Like, this guy has been in the top five for so many years. Even irrespective of what you want to say about his skills, maybe you might try to discredit Justin Gaethje, and whatever the case is, Justin Gaethje has been a staple at lightweight, and which has been one of the most difficult divisions to be in for the longest time. You can say, well, they've been fighting each other, but still, look at what Dustin Poirier did to Benoit Saint Denis. Now you can call Benoit Saint Denis a fraud, but at the time, everyone was high, including myself, was high on Benoit Saint Denis. Look at what both Justin Gaethje and what do you call him, Dustin Poirier have done to Michael Chandler, to Dan Hooker. So they fought some of the best fighters, and I genuinely feel like losing to them, especially competitively like Fiziev did, I think deserves a bit of credit, especially in this particular fight. I genuinely don't know how this fight is going to play out, but I'm going to go with the experience because I feel like the fight is so evenly matched. It makes more sense for me to go with the experience of Fiziev. I'm worried, I'm not going to lie to you. Wamai, I want to pick Fiziev, but I could see it going either way. I 100% agree. I'm just feeling like the fight is so evenly matched that it makes more sense for me to go with the experience because it's a close fight for me. It's a close fight for me, and I've noticed that's why I'm referencing older fighters or other old fights that I've predicted. I'm noting that I picked Valentina Shevchenko over Manon Fiorot because I felt that the experience would play a factor. I picked Alexander Volkanovski over Diego Lopez because I felt like the experience would play a factor. Obviously, that was not the only element that helped me decide, but it was one of the main important things that was allowing me to actually assess the outcome of this particular fight. Who else did I pick? So I picked Alexander Volkanovski to beat Diego Lopez. I picked Valentina Shevchenko to beat Manon Fiorot. I picked what do you call him? Who's the other older fighter that I picked? I forgot, but like I said the last week, I said Kamaru Usman might actually win, but unfortunately I changed my prediction strategy. But I said like I think Kamaru Usman actually might win. Even in this particular fight, in the main event, I feel like the experience is going to play a factor. I genuinely think Khalil Rountree might lose, right? Because of the experience, I'm not very confident in my pick, even though I'm picking Khalil Rountree to win that fight. So even in this particular fight, I genuinely feel like the experience is going to play a factor, mainly because they are so evenly matched. So I don't know, man. Like I don't know. It's gonna be a very difficult fight to predict, or rather, it's already a difficult fight to predict. But usually, those kind of fights make the best kind of fights, right? When usually the fight is difficult to predict, it usually means it's probably going to be a good fight. Hopefully, especially because they are both strikers. Um, Graf Dorobrov, Usman Monster, yeah, no, Usman is really, really good. Wamai, yeah, I picked the Gamrod and Fiziev also has the benefit of fighting better competition. Yeah, Wamai, I feel like experience is even more important in women's title fights where they almost always go 5 rounds. I agree. I agree. So, in no way am I discrediting Ignacio Bahamondes because a part of me wants to go with him, right? But I mean, I've changed how I predict fights, and my prediction says Fiziev. I'm worried. I'm worried. Um, Join me for the watch along, guys, and let's talk about it. Wamai knows about it. He's a lot more chill on these breakdowns than he is in the watch along. Wamai, I think Roundtree has had too many poor performances against very average fighters. You're making me feel like this week is not gonna be good for me. I mean, I'm worried about the Roundtree pick. I'm worried about the Fiziev pick. Man, it's gonna be a long week. Anyway, that's my official breakdown. My subscribers and I are officially picking um, Rafael Fiziev. If you want to see my previous breakdown, you can go click on the channel and go to the live section of the channel. The biggest part of the channel is the shorts, so go there and check out what I have to offer there. I'm going to break down the last fight for today, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow. So the next fight that I'm going to be breaking down is Curtis Blades versus Kuniev. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name properly. So that's the last fight I'm going to be breaking down today. So if you want to join me, let's go to that fight. But you can always even watch me later at your own time. You can always just you can go to the live section of the channel and watch the breakdowns. I do these lives mainly because it's more convenient for me, and I also get to interact with all of you and get your opinions instead of just listening to everything I have to say. Wamai like split. against Jacoby losing to Johnny Walker. No, that's actually a fair point, man. Anyway, let's go to the next fight, the last fight that I'm going to be breaking down today. If you want to join me, let's go. Until then, deuces.